All right, what's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me, you can hear me. What's up, Alex Wallace? What's up, Georgia Love? Nice to see you. What's up, Javid? We got John Reed in the house, Bruno, Alex, Kevin Wilson, Brian Russell, Steve Marshall. Great to see everybody. Turn these cameras on. It's a requirement if you want to hear me tonight. And Martini's literally going to be sending people away. And so I feel bad for Jurgen and Eliza and Horvath. You seem like nice people, but Martini's ruthless when it comes to this. And yes, it's my birthday. We're going to party like it's my birthday, as 50 Cent would say. And you know, what can I say? I'm 52 years old. I know I don't look it. What can I say? But I'm feeling good. And look, I hate to say it. What's that old phrase? Do what you love and, you know, you'll never work a day in your life. But like, I couldn't think of a better place I'd rather be, quite frankly, than right here with all of you now. I've had an amazing day here. I just had a great broadcast on London Real. And now I'm going to teach you all how to make a ton of money. And that's probably why we're here. I mean, we really don't take days off here. We think every moment is precious and we're constantly moving forward. And like I said, we've got a real vision here to change the future of what AI is going to be and to also create generational wealth for all of my students and Academy members. The plan is to create $10 billion of wealth for my people, my London Real family over the next 10 years. And so if you're lucky enough to be in there, guess what? You just got rich. But also we want to be aligned with our vision of human transformation at the same time. And so today I want to talk about some of the dangers of AI, but I also want to show you some of the incredible opportunities at the same time. Can you put your hands up if you're a little worried about AI or you've been going down the rabbit hole of AI? Put your hands up if you've been playing with ChatGPT. Yeah, a few people. All right, Steve Marshall's like, yeah, of course, Brian. Brian Russell. Okay, Bruno, I see a few more cameras coming on, which is good. We should have told you before the meeting, but you have to have a camera on to be on this meeting. Otherwise, we throw people out. And if you wear a tie, you get even bonus points. And if you look as relaxed as Lotus Kala, then you get even more points on top of that. So look, I've seen people drinking, vaping. I've seen people naked on this call. So try to keep your clothes on. If you need to have a drink, that's up to you. It's your business. I stopped that a little while ago, but more power. And we got more people coming in, but I'm going to try to drop on you in the next 30, 40 minutes what's actually happening in artificial intelligence. You cannot believe what you're hearing in the news media. I am talking to the experts and I'm going to share with you video from them that I've never even shared on my public channels before. So pay attention. I am systematically getting the best in the world in AI on my show. And then I'm having conversations behind the scenes. We're also making investments. So we're about to cut $1 million check on Friday to what we think is the OpenAI killer. It's a massive AI company that's going to actually create something called AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is human level intelligence. And we think they're going to do it with the right ethics, because somebody's going to do it. If it's not us, if it's not the Russians, it's the Chinese, or even worse, those goddamn Americans, you know, then it's going to get crazy. And so they say, if you want to control the future, you have to create it. Has anyone ever heard that expression? Right. And that's what we want to do here. So you're in a very special place if you happen to come on this call, because I guess it's my online birthday party. Thanks to Martini. She just turned over the bowl and spilled all the beans on the ground. But yeah, it is my birthday and it's all good. So I'm going to get started. I got a presentation for all of you. Last chance to turn cameras on. I'd love to see everybody here, like Sat and Horvath and Len. Jurgen, I'm sorry, you got to go, buddy. So I'm throwing you out, Jurgen. I'm sure you're a nice person. And Fatma, you seem like a nice person as well, but I'm checking you out as well. So Martini's going to eliminate anybody else because I need to see the whites of your eyes. Again, you couldn't look any more relaxed than Lotus there. She's just kicking it, right? So it doesn't matter what you look like or what you're doing. It's none of my business. You don't have to wear a tie, but I'd love to see your faces, okay? Get ready because we're going to plug in and then I'll answer questions at the end. Is everybody good with this? All right. I would just say pay attention and have an open mind. I literally believe that AI will completely transform the human experience in the next 2 to 3 years. And in 10 years, it's going to redefine what it means to a human. Recently, Yuval Harari, who wrote the book Sapiens and Homo Deus, said as soon as we hit artificial general intelligence, that's the end of human history. And I think he has something there. I've got 2 young boys. My son Caden's turning 7 next week. My son Damon is turning 6 in August. And we're going away this weekend for a birthday celebration. And I'm very concerned because their teenage years will be unlike any other human in the last 200,000 years, because they're going to be interacting with highly intelligent AI everywhere. And, you know, it's not obvious that they'll even have jobs in the future. And so I'm taking this very, very seriously. Everybody know what I'm talking about here? I'm taking it very seriously. So pay attention as if your life depends on it, because it does. And let's get started here. All right, so I'm going to share this screen. This is something I just cooked up this morning. And like I said, I got videos I'm dropping here that even Martini hasn't seen because they're hot off the presses. Can everybody see this? It says AI Wars at the top, and it says, do we build gods or our potential exterminators? Just let me see a show of hands. Hands up if you think it's that dire, if you really think that we have to worry about this and this is an issue. So Glenn, John Reed, not everybody, Steve, Lotus a little bit. Okay, Georgia Love. Okay, cool. And if you don't, that's good. I love dissenting opinions, unlike my technology platforms. I like a little bit of dissent because I think it's how we get to the truth. But I want to talk about what I'm seeing today. I want to show you video footage of guests I've recently had on. And like I said, I'm talking to the best of the best on camera, behind the camera, and we're investing as well. Because I want to show you how we're going to profit here from artificial intelligence investing and create the best AIs possible. I personally don't want my artificial intelligence controlled by Google, Microsoft, or Tencent in China. Does anybody want that here? Put your hand up if you want those people controlling your experience. What are you kidding me? Right? And so again, I could sit back and whine and complain. I could put one of those placards on my chest and walk by the Parliament building here in London. I don't think that's going to be that helpful. Or I could put my money where my mouth is and my media platform behind the company and the people that we think are going to create ethical AI. You feel me? Does everyone feel me? I'm going to show you this tonight. So pay attention. We're going to rock and roll. All right. Put your seatbelt on, turn off your mobile, and let's roll. Well, don't turn it off if you're watching me on your mobile. All right. And let's go. Here we go. Happy birthday. First of all, this just out on Friday, right? So this is happening in real time. We now have AI wars. Google, which we thought had been counted out, we thought they were dead. Their stock price came off 10% on their first AI demonstration, is back in the game and it's kicking ass because their Google Bard, which I've been using all weekend, is now taking on OpenAI's ChatGPT. How many people here have played with Google Bard so far? Have you messed around? It's bard.google.com if you want to F with it. And look, it's as good as ChatGPT and it's plugged into the live internet. It's got other features and it connects directly to your YouTube and your email and your Google Docs. This is an edge Google has that ChatGPT doesn't, and it's all heating up. By the way, they've thrown caution to the winds. If you think about it, ChatGPT was not plugged into the live internet. Now Google Bard is. This is a problem we have as these companies basically race to the to the bottom to provide this service. This is an issue, but there's more. Google overruled the risk assessment to launch Bard AI. Okay, they had a code red in December 22 when ChatGPT came out, and they saw their stock price eventually going to zero because we see ChatGPT replacing Google search. Just put your hands up. Does that make sense? ChatGPT replaces Google search. How many people here use Google search? Come on, put your hands up. I know you don't use that DuckDuckGo nonsense, right? It doesn't really work, even though I appreciate what it's doing. Google search gives you a bunch of possibilities and you click on one and it tries to get your answer. How many people click on one of the search terms on Google and it answers your question completely 100%? Raise your hand if it does. It doesn't, right? It doesn't always, right? So you kind of have to hunt and peck and you get a little from here and a little from there. An AI will just give you an answer, not necessarily the right answer, and sometimes a left or right-leaning answer, depending on who coded it, but it's an answer. And so Google panics, they threw caution to the wind, and now they've connected Bard to the internet. This is happening fast, folks. This is all happening in the last 6 months. What else? Google boss Sundar Pichai admits AI dangers keep me up at night. Okay, this is the head of Google, and it's keeping him up at night. And he knows a lot more than we know. By the way, if you look at any of the AI CEOs, from Sundar to Satya at Google, Microsoft, to Sam Altman, who was wheeled in front of Congress this week, one thing I noticed about them, they're all scared. Has anyone noticed that about them? Put your hands up. Sam Altman's scared because they know they've created something they can't control. All right. They might not outright say that, although a lot of them do, but you can hear it in their voice. They're like, I'm not quite sure if I should be doing this, but I have to do this. But they're scared because they know they've created something that can potentially end their lives and end humanity, unlike any other thing the humanity's ever created. By the way, atomic bombs and nuclear weapons are dangerous, but they can't improve themselves. Does everyone understand the difference there, right? A nuclear bomb can't go in there and find a way to make itself more lethal. AI can. This is the difference, and we have to pay attention. What else? Godfather of AI. Have anybody heard this guy? Put your hands up. Jeffrey Hinton. He left Google this week. All right. because he's worried it's going to cause serious harm. This guy is the OG Mac Daddy, by the way. All my guests I've had on in AI, they all bow down to this guy. He was the one that was believing in neural nets and large language models 10, 20 years ago when nobody was. And this guy is scared and he wanted to get out of Google. He says so he could speak his mind. I don't know, read between the lines, right? What else? White House brought all the tech bosses in there. And what did it say, right? Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, Microsoft, Tom Altman were all told they had a moral duty to safeguard society. And now they wheeled in front of the Senate committee this week. I'm actually watching the end of that uncut just as we speak right now, or afterwards. Goldman Sachs says 300 million full-time jobs worldwide are in danger because of AI. 300 million. Does that comprehend anybody here? How many people are actually working right now out of the 8 billion out there? 3 billion, 4, 5? That's like 7% of the work of the jobs gone. Like people in America freak out when unemployment goes from 3.6 to 3.71%, right? What about 30 million Americans out of work? Are you kidding me? That takes the unemployment from like 3.6% to 13.6%. These are massive societal changes. They're going to just blast everything we understand as humanity right now. It really will. And this is going to happen much sooner than we expect. What else? People are talking about shutting down AI. I had Professor Max Tegmark from MIT on the show on Friday. He's the one that wrote the letter that was circulated to shut down AI. How many people know about that letter? Elon Musk signed it as well. It was to stop production of AI, and we went deep on that. That episode will be out in a couple of days. So I had Professor Hugo de Garis on the show. He's an AI scientist that's been doing this for 30 years. He wrote a book called The Art-elect War about 10, 15 years ago that talked about what would happen at this moment. And he asked this question: do we create our exterminators? Now, I know it's a bit dark, but stay with me, folks, because I got some light coming at the end. Is everybody still with me here? All right, Martini, we've seen everybody. Don't crack the bottle open yet. It's not going to help. I tried that for a long time. It doesn't help. All right, but don't do anything crazy. Don't jump out the window yet, because I got some solutions. But I want you to listen to Hugo, because he was on my show about 10 days ago. He's best friends with Dr. Ben Goertzel, who I'm going to introduce you to shortly. And he's like OG AI. Okay, OG. He was in China 10, 15 years ago, trying to set up a big AI lab there. I want you to listen to what he said, because he has an idea of what's going to happen in the future. And it goes a little bit something like this.
Do we build gods, or do we build our potential exterminators? I mean, I used to say, I'm going to die quietly in my bed, but my grandchildren will be caught up in this horrible conflict that I'm predicting is coming. But now I'm suddenly have question marks. God, I might even see it.
You say that the machines might just take us out in the back and...
Once it can start redesigning itself, you get an exponential explosion of intelligence. And then our fate as human beings depends on the machines. It's only a question of time before humanity is forced to choose between stopping development in artificial intelligence. I don't see that as realistic. Or we just accept the idea that sooner or later, we, as a human species, we become number two. The answer to that is, as I'm predicting, war.
Do you think China is behind the West right now for AI?
The potential of the Chinese is phenomenal. The Chinese, they've been dominant, the dominant power for not just centuries, but for millennia. The last 2 centuries or so, when they're economically dipped, that for them, given their 5,000-year history, is a glitch. It's a historical glitch. So deep down in the Chinese mentality is the push to get back, quote, where we belong.
So can you really isolate and stop the development of AI?
Personally, I feel it's inevitable. Do we build gods, or do we build our potential exterminators? That's the issue. Should humanity build artilects?
All right, what do we think of Dr. Hugo de Gavis? He is the quintessential AI scientist, right? You have to agree, right, with the board behind him and everything. So Art-elect is these artificial intelligence beings that are super smart, 1 billion times smarter than us. And he argues that anything on this planet that isn't the most intelligent always seems to have a hard time here, right? Does everyone know what I'm talking about? Woolly mammoths go extinct. Chickens and cows seem to have these lives that don't look like much fun. and the most intelligent species dominates, not the ones with the strongest muscles or the sharpest claws or anything else, right? Or the biggest. It's always the smartest. And he believes once they become smart, there's going to be an issue. So this is something he's talking about. It's a warning. I just want you to be aware of it. I do respect his judgment because he's been, but I've also got some other thoughts to share. So that's Hugo. What I want to talk about today are three things. I want to talk about why artificial intelligence is hot, both in a good and bad way. I want to talk about the dangers exist. And I want to ask you and answer this question. Do we build or do we stop? Like you said, is China going to stop? Raise your hand if anybody thinks China or Russia is going to stop this if the UK and America stops. No, they're not. Just as if probably we wouldn't stop if they stopped. This is something that people are going to do even in public or in private, but they're going to do it. And then I want to show you how you can invest in profit now. We have a deal that's literally closing on Friday. So let's jump into this today. We are investing, by the way, over $3 million in 3 deals this quarter. We are finishing up this latest round. It's some of the hottest companies on the planet. One of them is a massive AI deal, another blockchain deal, another Web3 deal. And we'll literally show you what we're doing and how we're doing it, just so you can get an understanding of what we do. We do it through what I call London Real Ventures. We created this 2 years ago. This is the world's first media-powered investment firm. Nobody is doing this. Nobody is taking the capital of a venture fund and plugging it into a media channel. So when we go to companies, we say, look, we're going to cut you the check, but that's not enough. I'm going to put the CEO in the leather chair. I'm going to get their mission. Then we're going to broadcast it out to 5 million people. Then we're going to plug those people in to be your potential customers. And then I'm going to introduce you to 1,000+ former London Real guests that can take your business to the next level. That's what we call our quadruple threat. And we're seeing the best deals in the world now because of it. Does that make sense to everybody? Just roughly kind of what we're doing there, right? It's like, an Andreessen Horowitz with a YouTube channel, something like that. These are a bunch of our portfolio companies we've already invested in. We're dropping press releases probably every week. You see them coming out. And we have another 3 or 4 deals we're going to be closing before the end of the quarter as well. So we're very busy here, actively investing, writing checks for millions of dollars, making these things happen because we believe these are going to have massive, massive payouts in the future. And again, including what I'm calling the OpenAI killer, which is closing soon. And I'll show you some details on that a little bit later. The greatest way, I believe, to predict the future is to create it. Let me say that again. The greatest way to predict the future is to create it. How many people agree with that, right? That's a real ethos here at London Real. We believe taking ownership and being a part of that solution is the way to do it. Don't sit back. Don't be a victim. Don't whine and complain. And look, did anybody follow what we did back in 2020? Anybody follow me back in 2020 during the lockdown and when we were fighting against YouTube, et cetera? A couple people here in London changed the entire narrative of the entire world, right? We went head to head with trillion-dollar technology companies, massive government regulators, and we put the truth out when they were trying to tell us to stop. So don't tell me that with a few $1 million, I can't change the future of how AI plays out, because I believe I can. And we've shown that we can change the narrative before. So again, you have to ask yourself, what is your why? This is my why, all right? The cat, not so much, but the 2 boys are my why, all right? So this is Damon and Caden. Caden's turning 7 next week. I'm very excited about that. And this is Damon, who's 6 right behind him. We're away this weekend for a birthday weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun. This is my why. Once you align your why, the how is easy. And so for me, working on my birthday, whatever it takes, it doesn't matter because this is for the struggle of humanity, in my opinion. And that's why we're very, very serious about what's going on. Also, this integrates with our mission here at London Real. And if you come to our studio, you'll see this plastered all over our back wall. And that's our mission to create a mass scale transformation of humanity into a fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative species. That's it. That's why we're here. And what we're doing with AI aligns perfectly with that because we need the world to understand what's going on. And we need to make sure that we stay cooperative and fully empowered and conscious. This is crucial. So that's why we're doing this if you're curious. The next thing I want to talk about is this man. His name is Mo Gaudat. He is a former Google X Chief Business Development Officer. He was in the lab where they create all the weird stuff at Google, including AI. He quit 5 or 6 years ago after he saw what was happening in the labs. He also wrote a book called Scary Smart, which is the future of AI, that talked about his future. A little different than Professor Hugo de Gareth, but not that different. I had Mo on the show and he said, Brian, Google is creating God. How many people does that scare you, knowing that Google is creating God? Anybody here? Come on. Got to be worried about this, right? So I want to briefly share with you what he said to us It's a very short video, but I think it's really important because this is another guy who's top of the field when it comes to this stuff, trying to give us some warnings as far as what's happening. And you want to pay attention to what he says. Listen carefully. It's very nuanced.
AI has already happened. The genie is already out of the bottle. We truly are creating a form of life. There is so much we don't know that it could be the best thing that ever happened to humanity, and it could be the worst. Our conviction of the control problem is not a technical issue. It's an arrogance issue. It's human arrogance to believe that I can continue to control something that is a billion times smarter than I am. Einstein's intelligence compared to a fly. And the question is, what would make Einstein care for the fly? Why wouldn't Einstein squish the fly? Your fate and my fate is no longer in our hands. Don't attempt to control them. They are a form of a living being. Attempt to appeal to their value system. The moment of singularity is a moment where the smartest being on planet Earth is no longer a human.
Why should I plan my life past 2025? Because the world's going to change.
Oh, great question. When the complexity of the systems invented by a civilization exceeds the intelligence of the citizens living within it, the system has to reset. The idea of our future is held within this moment of infancy of AI today. They will use us as their role models.
This is the only thing we can do in your mind, is to start being nicer.
AI will grow up to be like you and me. It's simple as that. And the only way we can contain them is by being good parents. And I'm not asking anyone to change. I'm only asking people to find it within them, what they truly are. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Treat the machines as you would like to be treated. If we want a good future, please be good parents.
We like Mo. Thumbs up if you like Mo. You feeling his vibe a little bit? How many people agree? Raise your hand if you think we just need to be good parents, if that's a solution. Be honest. Okay, there's some thumbs up and stuff, some hands up there. Couple takeaways from him. If they're a billion times smarter than us, that's like Einstein to a fly. How do you think they're going to treat us? At that point, there's nothing a human can do better than a machine. I mean, do we really think they're going to keep us around? Are they going to accidentally bump us out? Oh, you needed oxygen? Why didn't you tell us you needed it? We got rid of that yesterday. You know what I mean? We need to be aware of that. I just said, should I plan my life past 2025? And he said, I don't know, Brian. Most of the people I'm talking to are now advanced their prediction from artificial general intelligence for coming in 2029, now down to as soon as next year, 2025, maybe 2026. I'm talking very high level top experts now. I think 4 or 5 in a row now that I've had on the show are saying that. And that has severe implications for us. This is advancing not only exponentially, it's a vertical adoption curve. It's going like this to like this. ChatGPT is 100 million users in 2 months. Fastest adoption of technology in human history by a factor of 10. Okay, it's that fast and it's going to keep getting faster and it can improve itself. So again, we just need to wake up. I'd say most of the public right now does not understand how much of a threat this is. By the way, raise your hand if you think most of the public doesn't really get the threat of AI. If anyone here agree? Somewhat. Alex, you agree? Bruno, do you agree? Lotus? Yeah, I don't think people really understand. It's like that movie Don't Look Up that was on Netflix where there's this meteor coming at the earth and people are like, whatever. And they're like, it's coming in 50 days. And they're like, whatever. So anyways, back to the presentation. We know that Jeffrey Hinton, godfather of AI, has warned over the dangers of misinformation. Everyone's worried about the election next year in America and the amount of misinformation and disinformation that could happen. I mean, Hunter Biden laptop or Russians interfering, that's like child's play. That's like a white belt level in jujitsu. They're talking about black belt where there's deep fakes and like 10,000 Joe Biden saying stuff and you have no idea what's even going on, right? So much disinformation and misinformation that you can't even think straight, let alone trying to figure out which one is correct. That's the kind of thing that these people are predicting. And of course, now Jeffrey's saying he's scared of the tech he helped build. Again, The Guardian here in the UK is talking about the wealth inequality widened out as if it wasn't wide enough already. And then of course, even Tom Hanks chimed in yesterday and said, I can star in films after I'm dead. How many people agree with that? That's probably going to happen in Hollywood, right? So what are the actors trying to do? Are they worried? They're like, no, they're trying to own their image rights because a lot of them don't. So they're thinking, wow, this is a lot of money. But I mean, it's interesting that he says that, and he's right, in my opinion. The technology is already there. to create Tom Hanks movies for the next, millennia. Imagine, right? I mean, he mostly does voiceover for the animated anyways. That's easy. So this is becoming a reality. Google's DeepMind CEO, this guy's based in London, actually, not far from us in King's Cross. He's already said this artificial general intelligence, which is human level intelligence in everything we do. Right now, ChatGPT is a better writer than I'd say everybody here on this call. Raise your hand if you think you're a better writer than ChatGPT. I want to see. Come on. Really, Alex? Really, John Reed? Well, what? Maybe you can write a screenplay better than them, but can you write an NDA agreement in a legal term better than them? And can you write code in Fortran, COBOL, and Python better than them? Can you do all those, John Reed? You can't. So it's already better than you in all those things. AGI is when it's better than you at everything, John. Okay, it's not maybe not there yet, John. You're very talented, but still, that's what's coming and that's what's possible. This guy is considered one of the smartest guys out there. I mean, he's the one that created the machine for DeepMind that won that game Go. Does everybody know that game Go? It's like that Chinese game that nobody thought a computer could do. It beat the human champion, and then they created another version of it, and it beat all of the AIs. And then they started doing crazy things. Listen to what I'm saying here. I've gone deep on all these people. They then started giving it games, and they didn't tell the AI the rules of the game. They just gave it a game. Like, here's Call of Duty, here's chess, here's this. And he wouldn't even tell it how it works. And the neural net figured out the rules, and then it figured out how to win and beat everybody on the planet. Isn't that crazy? Does everyone agree that's crazy? That's a neural net. A neural net follows patterns. You don't have to even tell it anything. That's what's crazy. When I was a kid, I had one of those computer chess boards. You had to teach the computer how a knight moves and how a bishop moves. With these neural nets, you don't teach it anything. It just watches it. And it watches it until it can win every single time. What do you think it's going to do when it starts watching the planet? Do you think it's going to win every single time? Anybody want to guess, right? Do you think it's going to come up with new moves that we never thought of? Probably. So this is all happening. I took a quiz online. I actually chose 3 to 5 years for AGI. I was wrong. 40% of the people think it's happening in 1 to 3 years, which will massively change this world as we know it. So again, just want everyone to pay attention that this is real. AI could automate 25% of all jobs. That means 1 billion people out there potentially out of work. Do you think that's going to majorly change society as we know it? Hands up if you think we do, right? I'm here in central London. The property behind me, this building behind me, it costs £1 million for a lousy 1-bedroom in this high-rise building, right? If 25% of the people in London are unemployed, what do you think happens to property values? You think it's still worth £1 million? Probably not. Maybe $500,000. What if nobody's employed? Do you think it's worth anything? I would question your very investments that your pensions are in or everything might go to zero because of AI. We need to be aware of this. Again, this is Harari, who wrote these books, Sapiens and Homo Deus. Anybody ever read his books? I get mixed reviews for this guy on my show. Sapiens was pretty epic. I'm listening to Homo Deus right now, but he believes that AI is going to start basically creating stories. And he argues that humans have always lived in the dreams of other humans, right? This is what happened when you wrote stories and created pretty presses. A religion is a story, a nation is a story, a corporation is a story. Is everybody with me on that? All of these things are entities that don't really exist, but they get millions of people to work together and do things. The reason that we put a man on a moon and the monkeys didn't is because we could tell each other stories. Is everybody with me on that? I think Yuval's right on. Same with corporations, same with nations that fight against each other, et cetera. He says in the future, the AI will create the stories. And once they create the stories, we won't even know what the hell is going on. And I think he's got something to say here. So all these people are saying these things. Again, I don't want to get into the press. I just want you to know that it's happening. Of course, our man Elon Musk is coming back with his version on AI, which I think could be good. Like I said, 100 million users in 2 months, fastest adoption of technology in history. And again, it's an AI arms race right now between Google, between OpenAI, which is also aligned with Microsoft, between Amazon, Apple, Tencent in China, IBM. Those are the big players happening out. There's a few others, okay? And it's happening. Biden realizes a danger, but government is very, very lousy. Has a bad track record of regulating things in real time. I doubt they're going to get this, even though they're having them in Capitol Hill. So what do? I go back to the people I trust. This is Dr. Ben Grossman. He's the CEO and chief scientist of Singularity Net. He's been studying AI for 30+ years, back when it really wasn't sexy. All right. He's an extremely smart guy. He really understands what's going on, and he understands the inefficiencies and the problems with ChatGPT. He understands the limitations of that model. I had him back on the show recently because his company and his token went up 10x, right? Singularity Net token went up 10x on the explosion of all this excitement around ChatGPT. So they've got tens of millions of dollars now that they're deploying to do certain projects with this because they believe they're uniquely qualified. And I want to quickly play a short video of Ben so you can kind of see what Ben is going to say and you can get a vibe for him because this will lead somewhere very interesting with Ben. This was him recently on my show talking about, this has been on the show from about 3 or 4 months ago.
We are leaping into the great unknown, creating machines that are much smarter than us. This is either exciting or frightening or both, depending on your personality.
Will AI exterminate humanity?
Eliezer Yudkowsky, a decade or two ago, he said, the AI does not love you. The AI does not hate you, but it can use your atoms for something else. Actually, my view tends to be that AI is the greatest hope we have to save humanity from exterminating itself.
I don't think anyone in the world understands how this will be the most transformational time in human history.
I have a 5-year-old son, a 1-year-old daughter, and a 4-year-old granddaughter. By the time they're turned 18, the whole texture of human life and the nature of the world they grow up into is going to be incredibly different from the world that we see now. Like, they're never going to have to get jobs. On the whole, I'm an optimist. I have a spiritual or intuitive feeling that things are going to come out awesomely in the next 10 years. We're going to overcome material scarcity. We're going to create machines that can feed into our brains via brain-computer interfacing and help uplift human consciousness. And we're going to port into virtual worlds and achieve like states of intelligence and awareness going way beyond anything we can imagine now. So that's what the Captain Kirk in my head thinks. We're on the verge of engineered utopia. It's incredible. It's a remarkably weird and fortuitous thing to be living at such a time.
What do we think of Ben Goertzel? We feeling him? Thumbs up if you're liking this guy, right? Yeah, he's got a good vibe. He's got a good vision on the future. He's got the right mix of optimism and concern. And I reconnected with Ben in January. He was on the show in 2019. And I had him back on the show and I started talking to him behind the scenes. And I was like, Ben, we want to be aligned with you. We want to make a dent in this AI. We want to invest in something, put our money where our mouth is so we can change the future. Our missions are aligned with you and Singularity Net. What can we do together? And that's when something incredible happened. And I'm going to show you kind of what we've been working on the last couple of months. It's something really exciting. By the way, just some takeaways from Ben Goertzel on that is that Google is dead. These Web2 companies are going to struggle, which is why you see it adopting the AI. He says nasty, selfish people will use these narrow AIs for their own greed and control. Raise your hand if you think that's probably true, right? It really is. They're going to use that to just more people unemployed. The wealth gap will move more. And that creates the pre-singularity, which creates the singularity of when these AIs start dominating. What they see in the next few years, they will probably replicate that. If they see a few humans subjugating the rest of the humans, it's not a good look. And then, of course, I asked Ben, will AI annihilate humanity and take over? And he said, it's entirely possible. You can't rule it out. Or as he said, the AI doesn't hate you. The AI doesn't love you. But Georgia Love, the AI might have a better use for your atoms. All right. It's not personal, but it's possible. All right. So we just need to know that. So here we go. I reconnected with Ben. I actually saw him in Austin, Texas 2 weeks ago at this Consensus Blockchain conference. And that's why I took this picture. And I also shot a video with him, just me and him on my mobile phone, because I wanted to get an update on his latest project, which we're calling the OpenAI Killer. And I'm going to play you a short video of what Ben had to say about that, because I think it's pretty interesting. And this is the project. I haven't played this video before. Martina, you haven't seen this. Just created it today. And this is Ben talking about Zarka.
Zarka is poised to take the next significant leap beyond systems like ChatGPT via infusing large language models with logical reasoning through a neural symbolic architecture, and then other elements like evolutionary learning, which are good at inventing new things that leap further beyond the data that was in there. You need this logic part if you're going to do the creativity part. This is something that we know how to do in SingularityNet's AI team since forever.
What you're doing is something different than a lot of these other plays, like what we're seeing coming out of Silicon Valley.
What OpenAI has done with GPT-4, and I mean, it's awesome what the systems can do. On the other hand, everyone can see it can't tell reality from nonsense.
It seems like there's almost like two camps. You've got the large language model, narrow AIs that are going to this race to make these the ultimate, and then there's you over here that have been doing this for 5, 10, 20, for you 30 years.
I think the competitive advantage doesn't necessarily go to the people who have first come up with the GPT model. It could come to people who have deep understanding of these other AI modules that are to be combined with the transformer neural network, which comes down to the neural symbolic bit Zarka is doing.
SingularityNet has been on the blockchain for 4 years. It's always been about democratization. It's always been about an open marketplace. It's something we just don't see in these AI plays. They're usually surrounded by large tech giants. They're usually closed off to the public. They're usually trained in ways we're not sure of.
AGI, if it's going to create a beneficial technological singularity, if it's going to be good for all humanity, it can't be beholden only to the narrow goals of a very small group of people. You want the deployment to be decentralized, and you want to have a very diverse, broad group of people ongoingly participating and giving input to the AGI as it develops. And we're working on AI systems to do things like elder care and education and art and music and science. So I think if we architect AIs in a way that's designed to make them compassionate for humanity, in a way that's governed by a participatory, decentralized infrastructure, there's no reason to be pessimistic.
What do we think? Pretty interesting, right? So that's Ben talking about this new piece called Zarka. And then I was also really lucky to sit down with his chief operating officer. And she's an incredible woman named Janet Adams. And she's been working with them for the past 3 or 4 years. She actually spent 20 years in cutting her teeth in banking. And now she has an incredible way of articulating the vision of what they want to do with Zarka. And so I just want to also play really quickly a snapshot from her, because she brings something we really need in this space, quite frankly, is some female energy. And as a science geek myself from MIT, I must say, there's too many goddamn male science geeks in this space, right, Martini? And we need some energy. We need some female energy. We need some energy that's thinking a little bit bigger than us sometimes. And so I just want to play for you my conversation I had with Janet as she dives into what she sees the vision of Zarka.
Artificial general intelligence is completely different to narrow AI. AGI is more purpose-driven. It's a watershed moment for humanity.
Tell me about Zarka. This is the project that will create the AGI. And it's a supercharged, intelligent, neurosymbolic, large language model at massive scale. What is it?
Zarka is the accumulation of decades of research from teams containing the best artificial intelligence scientists in the world. We uniquely harness that expertise with our even more unique capabilities in neural symbolic techniques and the deeply advanced mathematics that Dr. Ben Goertzel, Dr. Matt Ickley, Dr. Alexei Potapov, and our top scientist, Sergei Shalyapin, have been working on for decades. We are building the most powerful large models ever invented.
With Zarka and SingularityNet and everything you've always done, it's always been about openness. It's always been about decentralization.
We'll be using blockchain technology to enable anybody to help train models. We're giving birth to a new species of sentient life in the universe. The actual greatest imperative is that they are used for good. The rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Our goal, our mission is to eradicate inequalities.
When I look at the rest of the market now, I don't see any of those motivations, because a corporation, by definition, is going to be motivated by money. You're the only project that even is thinking in any way, shape, or form about these.
We are going to transform what it means to be human on our planet. I foresee a future in which humans then evolve to a next level of being where we are actually conscious, where we feel our full joy engulfed in bliss and ecstasy of the joy of living, the joy of each other. I see a future of joy.
All right, we like Janet. We think she's a good counterbalance to some of these scientists. Yeah, we do. So like, we're literally getting the two of them and some of the best AI scientists in the world, which is why we're really excited. I'll share some more info on that later. But I want to actually now show you a little bit about how we do this, because this is a great takeaway for you. And if you pay attention for the next 5 to 7 minutes, you can see exactly kind of what we're doing and how we're doing. So again, just to conclude, we know AI has taken over all these industries, including these white collar industries that we never thought were going to be touched in the beginning. We always said AI was going to take away the cab driving jobs or take away the manufacturing jobs, but it's taken away computer programming jobs, legal jobs. That's a big deal. We know it's going to change the game. Also, we know it's growing at this massive rate. It's going to be easily over 2 trillion by 2030, if we even get to 2030 at this point. I was back at MIT recently, where I graduated with an engineering degree. And I spent a lot of time at the Sloan School of Management, one of the top business schools in the world at MIT. And my professor said, Brian, AI productivity boom is coming. I then went to my fraternity house where 50 young men are about to leave the world. And I said, what are you guys doing after this? Are you going to work on Wall Street like I did? Are you going to work for a consulting company? Are you going to work for Google? They said, no, we're going into AI. AI on blockchain, that's it. So if the talent's going there, guess what? Everything else is going to follow. And look, this is the truth. It's going to greatly improve efficiency, but it's going to drastically alter the workforce, the population, and let's be honest, society forever. We're not ready for what's going to happen. A singularity is when we don't know what happens afterwards. It's like going into a black hole where all the laws of physics go out the window. Once the singularity happens, once these machines become smarter than humans, you cannot assume anything is going to be the same anymore. And I don't think we're ready for that as a human species. So what can we do about it? Well, look, it's the year of AI, clearly. This will not go backwards. I cannot emphasize this enough. Crypto went quiet for a while. AI, you cannot put the genie back in the bottle because it's making itself better while you sleep right now. Okay, this is going one way, it's going up. There's no way to reverse this at this point. So what are we going to do? We're going to affect it by altering the future, by investing in it and creating generational wealth. I don't believe you can create great change unless you create great wealth. I think you're naive to think that you can do that. There's no record in human history of doing that. To do them simultaneously is how you affect the biggest change, and that's how we're going to do it. So where and how do we invest? Well, you have to find the hottest trend. And to do that, you have to be in the right rooms knowing what's going on, which means deal flow, deal flow, deal flow. That means I force myself into situations that I don't want to be in because I'm quite introverted by core. I know that's hard to believe, but I force myself to go out into these places, find out where the deals are. So I am trotting the globe. When I'm not here with you doing master classes, when I'm not in the studio broadcasting, when I'm not teaching in my academy, I am finding deals. This is me in Dubai. In October of last year, I'm meeting with the top influencers in the world on the left, huge crypto influencers. In the middle, I'm meeting with Dr. Marwan Al-Zanouni, who, by the way, has just been named CEO of Dubai's AI initiative, right? And we were trading people as well. I'm actually trying to get Ben Goertzel there in June for an event they're happening where investors are going to be there. I'm hanging out with the big VC funds that have, $5,000 bills on their walls and all the influencers there in Dubai. Then I'm off to Paris, having private dinners with investors, doing media, filming documentaries, and hanging out with our portfolio companies. In the upper right-hand corner, you see two of our investments we've made. One is Swissborg, one is Across the Ages, which is the hottest gaming and blockchain game there is in Europe. And so I'm hanging out with those people. And then, of course, after that, I'm off to Token 2049 here in London, where I get to spend time with Yat Stu. He's in the upper left here of Animoca Brands. Yat runs a $4 billion Web3 Metaverse fund. He's invested over 400 companies, and he's absolutely incredible. And I love spending time with him in our portfolio companies. And of course, the alpacas in the bottom left. When the AI take over, we're going to need any friend we get, right? Everyone agree? I'll introduce you to the alpacas if you want. Then, of course, I'm back to Paris. I'm hanging out with big investors. Up in the upper right hand is Tim Draper, legendary Silicon Valley investor. Bottom midsection is Dan Tapiero. He runs up to $2 billion right now of a fund and a bunch of our portfolio companies and connections. And of course, I was in Consensus in Texas a couple weeks ago, hanging out with Ben Goertzel, We had a couple members of our investment club there, blockchain people. I was introducing one of our portfolio companies, Orange Comet, to Yatsu. And I got to hang out with Captain Kirk. Anybody a fan of Star Trek and Captain Kirk? Come on, William Shatner in the house. Come on, folks. That was me hanging out with him on the bottom right. Look, it's hard, it's the perks of being me, right? This is why I work on my birthday, so I can hang out with William Shatner, it comes around. So it was great hanging out with him. And one of our investments, Orange Comet, just dropped his digital collectible. So, and William Shatner is on the board of this company, and I'm on the advisory board as well. So we were rubbing elbows. It was an amazing time. And that's what I'm doing. The next thing, if you want to be part of this wave and create generational wealth with yourself, is you have to invest with the best, period. That's what you have to do. So we are constantly looking for the hottest blockchain protocols, Web3, artificial intelligence companies out there. This is just a spate of some of the AI plays happening. I'll be honest, folks, some of them are garbage. Some of them are ChatGPT plugins. And some of them are companies that are going to change the entire game of AI, which is what we think Zarka is going to do, quite frankly. And again, the last thing you have to do, and pay attention to this one, is you have to understand the financial tools. Otherwise, you will never be able to partake in this. And you really want to pay attention for the next 2 or 3 minutes, because I'll show you what that means. What does that mean? Early stage artificial intelligence investment is what we're talking about here. Early stage equity investment. It's the hottest opportunity out there right now. You buy at super low valuations. You see the biggest gains. You invest in what I'm calling the biggest dislocation of wealth in human history. And that's true. It's high risk. Don't get me wrong. It's very high reward. All right. That's what you have to know. So you need to learn about this. Okay. It's not investment advice. I'm not an investment advisor. You must learn about this. All right. Early stage funding can be seed funding, startup funding, early growth funding. I want to be clear. This is when a company is still not making a profit yet. Put your hands up if you understand that. Does that make sense to everybody here? These companies are still cash flow negative. That's why they're willing to give you a percentage of the company or shares if you give them money now, because that way they're going to take your money, invest, create these models, and then dominate the market in the future. This is what we're seeing is a way of getting massive asymmetric returns on your money. What does that mean, Brian? Let me show you what that means. Asymmetric returns. How do you turn $500,000 into $1 billion? Who wants to know how to do that? Come on. Who wants to know? That's like turning $5, by the way, into say $10 million. Sorry, 5,000 into 10 million. That's pretty cool, right? Well, here we have Mark Zuckerberg on the left. I'm sure we're all fans of him. We have Peter Thiel on the right, legendary investor. Let's look at how he did it. This is Peter Thiel. Back in 2004, Peter bought 5% of Facebook and put $500,000 in that company for a $10 million valuation of Facebook. Is everybody with me here so far? Okay, that's what he did. With me? Okay. Fast forward 8 years, Facebook went public, sold shares to the public market, right? For people like you. Now you get to invest John Reed. Now you get to invest Paul Hutchison. Now you get to invest Brian Russell 8 years later, but you're going to have to pay us $100 billion for this company, right? And so 8 years later, there was an IPO. Okay. What happens? Peter Thiel made a 2,300x on his investment. That's a 230,000% gain. Has anybody ever had that kind of a gain on anything? Has anyone heard of that gain? Right? Bruno did. You got a DM me, Bruno. Tell me how. I don't believe you. I worked in Wall Street. I worked in London. I worked in First National Bank of Chicago. I worked in the highest levels of international finance for 15 years. I worked in fixed income derivatives, credit derivatives, equity derivatives. I never ever met anyone that made a 2,300x gain. It's a very, very rare thing. And by the way, what happened to the stock price of Facebook after he sold his shares and you bought them as the public? It went down. Of course it did. You know what the public markets are for? They're for sheep like you, and sheep get slaughtered. That's the rule on Wall Street. Everybody knows it, right? So what do you conclude? A simple $10,000 investment in this company would have made $23 million. Now, did anybody here get the phone call back in 2004 to invest alongside Peter Thiel? Come on. Bruno, was that you? Anybody? No. Why? Because the rich get richer with deal flow, and you're not part of the club. That's the deal. You're part of the public. You're the ones we use when we want to take our profits. You don't get these deals. These go to accredited investors. Has anyone ever heard that term? That means you have to be rich to get more rich, is what that means. $10,000 would have made 23 million. How many people wish they would have put 10 grand into this company in 2004? Could you have scraped together 10 grand in 2004? Put your hands up if you could. Really? You could have sold your kid. Maybe. No, I'm just joking. You could have sold something to put in 10 grand. Look at what you would have had. So what's the conclusion? The wealthy invest in early stage equity deals, and the public markets are for suckers. If you're out there buying a share of Tesla, if you're out there buying a share of Apple in the public markets, that's great. But understand, someone else is taking profits when you buy that share. And you're never going to see 1,000x, 2,000x, or 100x returns on that. Not going to happen. How many people here own crypto? Put your hands up if you own Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything like that. Good. We got a savvy audience here. Nice. Anyone ever heard of a pre-sale token in crypto? I'm sure you heard of that, maybe. This is the same thing in crypto. It's a practice on crypto projects where you buy the token before it gets listed on an exchange. Same thing as an IPO, right? You can lock in some early prices. Let me give you an example. Who here has heard of Solana? Put your hands up. You heard of Solana? Come on. It's the 9th largest market cap, 5th largest blockchain out there. Well, look, can everyone see this red circle? Put your hand up. Can you see this red circle here? This is the price there, 4 cents, where you could have bought Solana tokens on April 5th, 2018. Can everybody pan right to that? Can you see how much they raised? $3.17 million. They sold 73 million tokens. This is on the blockchain. Don't take my word for it. It's all on the blockchain. You can go look it up yourself. What happened after they bought that? By the way, anybody buy tokens for 4 cents? Bruno, did you get any of these? I didn't think so, because you didn't know these people at the time. What happened? Solana's now at 20 some bucks. You could have made a 59,000% return. This is happening all the time. You don't know it, because on Wall Street, we put our good customers into these deals. We don't put public cheap suckers, no offense, I'm not one of them, into these deals. The rich get richer with deal flow until now, because now I've been unleashed. And my friends on Wall Street don't like me telling you these things. Well, guess what? I don't care anymore. So I'm going to tell you this. This goes for people that know how to pull the trigger and get into the deals that are going to create these asymmetric returns. It happens this way. You got to find the deals. So this is a small snapshot of some of the pitch decks that we've seen inside our investment club. This is over 200 deals that we source. We see 10 deals a week sometimes. And these are all of our deals. By the way, the bottom right-hand corner is the deck for Orange Comet, which William Shatner is the advisor on, and he just dropped his digital collectible. So this is what we do. Inside our investment club in London Mill Ventures, we source all of these in our deal flow monitor. This is every single deal we've seen. It's the blockchain it's on. It's how much they're looking to raise. Is it an equity sale? Is it a token sale? What's the valuation of the company? And who wants to be involved, or if we don't like the deal at all? We track every single thing in here. This is our history of what we're seeing. These are the deals we're doing. This is Orange Comet. This is David Broom, their CEO. He came on one of our live calls. By the way, we have CEOs live every single week on our call. Last week, we had 2 in one call pitching us their companies, and it's like Shark Tank. I grill them for like 20 minutes and stick them on the hot coals and see if they can answer hard questions in real time. If they can't, we pass. Hell, we pass most of the time anyways. We only wait for the best deal. Out of 200 pitch decks, we chose 6, 7. We only choose the best. All right. This is Dave Broom. This is Orange Comet. All right. This is an amazing company. They're doing things with William Shatner, with Sir Anthony Hopkins, with the Walking Dead TV franchise, with Scottie Pippen, the Chicago Bulls, with the NFL, with countless Hollywood movie franchises that are literally the biggest in the world that I can't tell you because I signed confidentiality agreements. These guys are absolutely crushing it. Dave Broom was in the studio. I would play this video for you, but you can watch it online. Just Google David Broom, Orange Comet. We put him in the studio. We cut him a check for 600 grand, I think. We put him in the studio. This episode is blowing up around the world. They're getting more investment on the back of it. They're getting new projects. We're giving them customers. They love us so much. He got me, FaceTime with William Shatner. And so this is what we do as a company, and we're crushing it in the meantime. What else? Swissborg, #1 crypto wealth manager in Europe. They got 1 million customers. They're creating the bank of the future. We've just finalized. We dropped the press release yesterday with them. We'll have the CEO in the leather chair next month. Right. Next is Batum. Batum is an incredible company building Web3 metaverses in there. Alex was given it. We have Alex here on the call, who's in our investment club, who's invested in all of these deals. Again, these guys are doing incredible things. By the way, Eric, the CEO, just confirmed he'll be on London Real May 29th, Monday morning, as he comes through Europe, and then we'll be blowing his company up on the back of it. We're huge fans of this. They create these amazing metaverses for companies like Pepsi, Google, top insurance companies, Frito-Lay, you name it. They're building the metaverses for them of the future. They're an amazing company. We got an incredible price on this. We think all these companies are going to be the next 10, 20, $30 billion companies and give us these massive returns. And the big one I want to talk about is what we're calling the OpenAI killer. This is the deal that's changing the game, and that's Zarka. It's a supercharged, intelligent, neural symbolic, large language model at massive scale. And this is the one we're super excited about. This is the one with the dream team. Are you kidding me? You got Janet Adams here, amazing. Ben Kurtzel, chief scientist. Sergey Shalyapin, who came and spoke to us on our live Zoom call. One of the top AI scientists in the world. The Singularity Net team has been doing this at scale for 10 years. Ben's been doing this for 20, 30 years. They're putting their best brains into this Zarka project to go after OpenAI. I couldn't be more excited about this project. Again, the opportunity, ChatGPT AI is hot. The world is watching, they're gonna take advantage of it. But the problem with large language models is this: they have no ability to reason in complex real world environments. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. They just regurgitate text. They can't think, which is why they hallucinate, and they can't be trusted because they can't reason, okay? They don't know when they are wrong. Let me repeat that, folks. They don't know when they are wrong. Do you want that system running your healthcare, your nuclear reactors, your children's education, your healthcare, anybody? No, this is the danger of narrow AI. AGI, it gets it to reason and think. And so that's what the opportunity is here. And these people are uniquely positioned to create neurosymbolic AI, which is like a reasoning logic component that plugs into the LLM, and you create the best of both worlds. It's actually more like how human brains function. And they know how to do it. And guess what? OpenAI and Google and Microsoft, they don't, because they've not been working on this. Ben and his team have for 10 years. So they're going to stick reasoning in there. They're going to infuse their large language models with neurosymbolic AI, and they're going to also escape the monopoly factor, which we're seeing right now. If you want to invest in AI right now, do you think Microsoft and OpenAI and Google is going to allow you to invest in those companies? Anybody think? There's no way. They're putting 10 billion in. It's over, not for you. So this is a way of them doing this. They're also going to make it open source, a diverse, inclusive, global user base. This is the future, folks. It's clearly obvious. This is their time scale. They're going to have proof of concept by the end of the year. We'll stick in another chunk of money in early next year, and it'll be ready to roll by probably mid next year. And that's what we think is going to change the future. So again, they have massive experience in AGI. They have AGI supremacy because they've been working on it for a long time. These people are the dream team. They're going to do what these other companies, I believe, can't do. And by the way, Google came out recently with a leaked article that said they're not developing as fast as open source. They even admitted that internally, which points, all fingers point to Ben Goertzel and this team. It's amazing. Again, look at some of the revenues, 55 billion. Put 100x multiple on that, you got a $5 trillion company. It's the biggest company in the world. I mean, big surprise, right? The multiples are here. And lastly, they're good people. They're people that have values that we're aligned with as a company here at London Real. I personally would rather have them creating the AGI and not the folks in Silicon Valley, quite frankly, which is why we've gone all in on this company. Now, the question is this the next 1,000x return investment? Anybody think it is here? Look, inside the investment club, we think it is, which is why everyone has gone in on this. So that's what's happening. Again, we're able to provide these deals for our club because of the London Real media platforms. And because I've acquired this talent, don't ask me how, it only took me 12 years to be able to ask people questions when they sit in a chair next to me. So because of that, we're able to create these beautiful pieces of media, get it in front of the right people, and create buzz, awareness, customers, traction, cash flows, revenue, success for these companies. We do it this way. These are our portfolios. We have what I call the quadruple threat. First of all, we create this beautiful interview with you that shows the values of the company and the vision of the CEO. Next, we distribute it in amazing forms, Hollywood trailers, different video clips, full episode to our 5 million subscribers worldwide. Next, we connect you with over 1,000 influencers in the space. It could be someone in finance like Robert Kiyosaki. It could be someone in blockchain like Yatsu. It could be someone, I know everybody. I mean, it could be a heavyweight boxer, a supermodel, or it could be a member of the mafia. I know 2 made men, so don't mess with me. And then lastly, number 4, we cut the check. It's not all talk here. We write a check. We give you $1 million to take your project to the next level. Nobody is doing this. We are the first mover in this model. And I think we're going to be here at least for the next 18 months. And we are taking massive advantage of it, which is why we're not taking days off here. We're pushing it as hard as we can. We're in a beautiful situation. We've got an amazing group of people in our investment club that are helping us do this. And it's just all incredible. And that's how we're able to offer these deals to my family here at London Real, is what we're doing. So how do you learn how to invest? We teach all of our people that join our investment club how to do this as well. So that way they don't have to rely on me for deals. My team brings these deals in. So the way we do this is we surround ourselves with the very best people in the world, which is who we allow inside our investment club. I believe you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Raise your hand if you think that's true. Come on, it's true. And who are you hanging out with? As one of my mentors, Dan Pena, would say, losers, that's who you're hanging out with. He said it, not me. But let's be honest. Who are the 5 people you're spending time with? Are they creating billion-dollar companies? Are they? Are they talking with the most influential people in the world? Are they pushing themselves to their limits? Or are they handing in excuses, engaging in negative behavior, and not doing anything with their lives? Raise your hand if you got a few of those in your life. Come on. They're probably your family as well. Don't get me started about that. You got to surround yourself with the best. That's what we do inside this club. And that's why I encourage my daughter here to go to all the way to America, to Boston. Her mother hated this idea because I wanted her to be surrounded by the best. Yes, it was uncomfortable. Yes, she could have hung out with her friends in London and been the smartest girl in class, which she was. But now she's in Boston with those damn Yanks, those damn, high achievers. And they're pushing her to the limit. That's why I went to MIT from a small high school in San Diego. I went there to be pushed. I was not the smartest person there by a long shot, but it forced me to step my game up. And by the end of my 4 years, I was competing with the best. This is what we do here inside our academy. And that's why we're blessed to have people like Marianne Bartell. She's a 35-year Wall Street veteran, chief information officer for companies like Merrill Lynch and Bank of America. Marianne is one of the smartest people I've ever met when it comes to financial markets. She understands stocks, bonds, yield curves, inflation. She knows what the Federal Reserve in America is going to do before they do it. For all I know, she's telling them what to do. And she's one of the members of our club. She's invested in Darka. She's invested in Orange Comet. She's invested in Swissborg. She's invested in Batum because she knows what's going on. Next, you got Andrew Haynes. He's an expert in the metaverse. This is his metaverse. This is his metaverse he built in the sandbox, his NFT gallery, everything. He's an expert in the metaverse. He also hangs out with some of the smartest AI people at the university he attends in Switzerland. So he's very well plugged in. And again, one of the many members that you get to be with and learn from in this. Then you've got Dr. Encore. 18 months ago, he was in medicine. Now he has a YouTube channel with hundreds of thousands of views. He got offered $100,000 in tokens to advise on a company the other day, and he turned it down because he had better things to do and better opportunities. Like I said, he's created a YouTube channel from scratch, and he's now sourcing investments for us. By the way, this guy here brought us the Vadim deal. He brought us that deal on a silver platter because of his hard work. And all of our students are doing this inside our academy. That's the beautiful thing. And it goes down to this. This is my philosophy. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. All of my investment club members that join me in this process are learning how to fish. That way you can do this without my help. You can do this on your own, and you can source deals for the rest of your life and create generational wealth over and over and over again. This way we work as a team. We source deals from 20 countries from around the world with our 70 plus members. And we're growing by the minute, and it's incredible. So that's what's going on. And that's why I created my investment club. In 2021, 2 years ago, we had a chance to invest in Cross the Ages, the hottest gaming company in blockchain. I pulled the trigger on that, but I had studied finance at the MIT Sloan School of Management. I worked 15 years at the highest levels of international finance, Wall Street, London, Chicago. And I had never heard of any of this pre-sale token nonsense. Quite frankly, it scared the hell out of me. I was so confused, so uncomfortable that I thought, after we did that deal, I thought, we got to teach this. I called up Martini. I said, Martini, we got to teach this. We got to create this investment club. She said, Brian, we can't. We're so busy right now. Our crypto course is blowing up. Everybody wants us to teach them blockchain. But we started this in January 22, we started this. And it blew up. It just blew up. And so we take 10 people in this course every quarter, right? We're limited. It's application only. You have to talk to Martini. She has to think you're a right fit for this. If it is, you get 3 months of coursework from us that we teach in real time. You attend weekly Zoom calls where there's a CEO on every single call pitching. You want to learn? Watch what happens in one call. You'll go from 0 to hero in one call. We've had people join this that are sourcing new deals for us in 4 weeks. That's how quickly you can learn. We have a private Telegram group, private Discord group. You have access to all of our deal flow. We give you a full year of our Kings of DeFi program. This is a 12-month course, but folks, no one's ever left. So at this point, it's a lifetime course, because why would I want you to leave this group? If you bring ideas and capital, why would we want you to leave? We've got an amazing group of people that for the next 10 years, we're going to create $10 billion of wealth. That's our plan. Our next live call is Thursday at 7:15 p.m. And this is what we do. We get together I teach people from all around the world to get to the next level. I teach real-time learning, all right? So I'm constantly adjusting the curriculum every month or two as the world changes, and it changes fast, folks. I also constantly adjust my wardrobe for you. Do you like the colors? Come on, who's feeling these colors? You kidding me? I never wore these colors when I worked in banking. I was so boring in banking. I was so grumpy in banking, Martini. Are you kidding me? All right, this is our curriculum. All right, module 1, I teach you what is a blockchain AI and metaverse pre-sale? What am I talking about? What are we doing here? Module 2, I teach you what is a SAFT and what is a safe. Raise your hand if you know what a SAFT is or a safe. Raise your hands. Not a single hand I can see. Well, of course, Alex I see, but he's in the investment club. This is a travesty. This is how Wall Street creates billionaires, and they're not teaching you this. We are the only people that are teaching this in the world. And we're the only people that are simultaneously investing in this at the same time. SAFT is a sale agreement for future tokens, pre-sale. SAFE is a sale agreement for future equity. This is how you invest in early stage companies. The fact that you don't know this should show you that the banking system is trying to keep you in the dark, right? What do they say? Treat you like a mushroom, keep you in the dark and feed you. I can't say the word, but that's what my mentor used to say, right? Don't be ignorant. That's why you're poor. Deal flow part 1, how to identify these early winners, okay? 5 T's is what we use for due diligence outside the company. Team, traction, technology, tokenomics, terms and conditions. We check every deal out with those 5 T's. Then we move forward and then we see if we want more. If we're more interested, then we get them on the call. Deal flow part 2 is how you go out there and generate deals. I show you how to go to the conference. I show you what to wear. I show you how to exchange information. Leave your business cards at home, grandpa, boomer. We don't do that anymore. We use Telegram QR codes. We take selfies. We get people pitch decks within minutes of meeting them. We took Ryan to the consensus conference. He walked away with how many deals, Martini? Like something like 18 deals. Carol came to Paris with me. She came away with 12 different deals. Her CEO was on the call last week. This is how we do this, folks. We're not playing around. Module 5 is how you nurture your early stage investments. Once you write the check, it's not over. That's why I'm in Texas introducing Dave Broom to Yatsu. We're making things happen here because we want to create this 1000x returns on our money, and we will. Module 6 is how do you get the cash out? One thing to put the cash in, but how do you get it out? Exit scenarios and liquidity events. This is our Telegram group. This is our Discord group. And this is the deal, folks. We're oversubscribed. We're always oversubscribed. Martini literally works 24/7. She works harder than me. I didn't think that was possible, but she does. She is there trying to get the best people in this program. We are oversubscribed. We always are. There were 7 confirmed, 1 on hold, 2 spaces left, but I think there's only 1 space left for this course. The investment is $50,000 because it's an investment in your future. You can use these techniques for the rest of your life, and you can be a part of this group for as long as you want to be a part of this group. We are doubling this to $100,000 in the next course because 5 of our students came in and said, Brian, you should double this. And I said, you're right. So we will. All right. Look, I understand it's a significant investment, but it's an investment in your future cash flow, in your ability to create generational wealth. When Peter Thiel creates $1 billion, do you think he's happy about his investment? So this is an investment in yourself, your network, your future income. This is the greatest wealth creation event in human history, folks. And the special investment opportunity is ending on Friday. It's it. It's over, gone. And there won't be, I don't think there'll be any more of these in this sector, quite frankly. So that's what's happening. By the way, we had one of these opportunities in the last class 3 months ago. Some of you would have attended these calls. And I said, you're going to miss out on this. By the way, this is a pre-sale token agreement, a SAFT agreement. Yeah, it's a complicated legal document that you'll get very comfortable with. It won't be complicated to you after the first 4 weeks. What happened to this opportunity that you missed? In one day, 24 hours, we made 466% return on our investment. I made my investment club members $300,000 in one day. And this wasn't even a big deal. We did this because we were bored that week. We had nothing else to do. I said, folks, do we want to do this? It's not going to be a slam dunk, a grand slam right now, but do we want to do this? We checked it out. We did the due diligence and bam, we have a track record of success. That's what we do here. So lastly, one of my members, Jen's here, one of the founding members, he shot me a message the other day. He said, Brian, people don't understand what we're doing in here. I'm like, what are you talking about, Jens? He's like, they don't understand the power of what we've built, Brian. This is amazing. This is incredible. I've been an investment guy my whole life. I've never been involved in anything like this. I was like, well, Jens, I don't care if they don't know. We don't care. We have a small group of people we're going to make wealthy. And he said, no, Brian, I got to make this video for you. I said, all right, Jens, if you want to. And so he decided that he would record this video. He pulled out his mobile phone and he hit record. He's German, as he says. which I think is a feature, not a bug personally. And he recorded this video. This is what Jen said, and he wanted you to see it.
Why should you join the investment club? And the next obvious question is, can I afford to join the investment club? My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I am an active investor in stocks and companies since age 14. And risking of stating the obvious, I'm German. Also, I am one of the founding members of the investment club. And I consider my decision to join the investment club as one of the best investment decisions I ever made and I ever will make. Why? We all had this pub talk, this talk at the dinner table where we complained about our hustle we have to do daily. We complained on the workload we have, and we try to top up each other who has more stress, who is more hustling. And then sooner or later someone says, well, if I would have been an early stage investor in PayPal, I would be so rich. Or if I would have been an early stage investor in Microsoft, I would be so rich. And this is nice. This is really nice. But let's be honest. If you would have had the chance back then, 1992, to invest in PayPal, would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have invested? Quite likely you wouldn't have, because you couldn't assess the situation. You couldn't value the situation enough. In the investment club, we get these offers on a daily basis. We get the next PayPals on our table. And then we have a team of 50 people, 60 people, of a growing community of people who will do these assessments. And they will say, do this, buy this, this is the way. And then we buy this. And the next question is, can you afford to join the investment club? And the question really should be, can you afford not to join the investment club? Times are getting tougher. AI is taking over. And in what company you want to invest? In which AI company do you want to invest? Do you want to invest in the ones who do the fridges? Or do you want to invest in an early stage Coca-Cola who uses the fridges? It's up to your decision. I tell you now, invest in the investment club and be part of our fabulous, wonderful group. My name is Jens Krautscheid, and I wish you the best decisions of them all.
We like Jens. Are you feeling him? Come on, gotta love this guy, right? And look, Alex is here. He's in the group. How many? By the way, any other investment club members here? I see Alex. Maybe a couple other people here. Patsy is there as well. Hey, Patsy, how are you? Again, everyone's like that in there, right? Everyone's full of good energy. Everyone's got the right vision for the future. I mean, the truth is, when everyone wins, we all win. So there's no competition because we all make money. We all have access to all of those investments. And so I'll leave you with a couple final thoughts, and then I can answer some questions. Marianne from Wall Street, she said this on our very first call. She said, Brian, it only takes one. And I said, Marianne, what are you talking about? She's like, I know people that invested in Uber. I know people that invested in Google. She's like, it takes one. One of these changes your life, the life of your children, your grandchildren, maybe even further generations. One $10,000 investment is $23 million for that Facebook deal. That changes generations. If you don't have something in this sector, I think you're doing yourself a massive disservice. And it makes the rest of your investment thesis, in my opinion, a joke. So that's what we're doing here. My final thoughts are, don't let 2023 pass you by. Learn early stage investing now because it's not going anywhere. It's going to be here forever. Liquid tokens and equity have limited gains. If you buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, great. If you buy a share of Tesla, great. It's not going to get 1,000x return. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. It's just not. Even the Bitcoin fanatics know it's not going to go to $30 million. Okay. It's not. You have to get in early if you want those type of returns. You can learn from active investors, not someone talking about it, not a professor at MIT, God love them, people cutting checks on a weekly basis for just $50,000. It's a significant investment with a massive potential ROI. And thanks to Martini, she made this happen a few months ago. She called me up and said, Brian, we need a payment plan. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, we're missing good people because we don't have a plan. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. So for 10,000 a month for 5 months, you can get in on this deal right now. And so thanks to her, thank Martini later. And that's for the best deal flow in the world. So again, we are oversubscribed. Martini's extremely busy. She's the one that decides who joins this program. And that's what we're doing. Like I said, we are really excited to be in this space. We know the sky is the limit. And so this is Martini's contact information. We're going to bring her on shortly, and she can tell you how, if you want to take this up, you can have a conversation with her. But I'd finally just say, what's your why? Like, why are you here on this earth? And is it worth the people in your life? For me, it is. For me, it's worth these guys' lives. And so I'm going all in on this to create a future for them in all ways, shapes, and forms, from a wealth perspective, from a future perspective, from a relationship with our machines perspective. And that's what this is all about. So I'll bounce to the questions right now. Was that helpful for everybody here? Just wave your hands if you found that helpful in some way, shape, or form. By the way, you won't find this presentation anywhere on the internet or anywhere in the world, because no one will tell you these things. All the Wall Street people won't tell you these things. And there's no one out there that's actively investing that's even teaching this stuff. And that's what we do differently here. And we provide these opportunities to our London Real audience. By the way, if you're in the investment club, you get to choose whether you want to invest in these companies as little as $5,000. That's how we do it. You would never, ever in a million years be able to do this in the industry. They would require, a fund would require $250,000 minimum. And they wouldn't ask you if you want to invest. They would send your money wherever they want, is what they would do. In this, you actually have the option to invest zero if you don't like the way the CEO dresses. It's up to you. And that's what we do. We pass this on to our London Realers. So look, I want to go to questions, but I want to also just pull Martini in so she can just say hello and explain. If anybody wants to make contact with her, please do. But as she'll tell you, whatever you do, don't waste your time. She's very busy and only wants to talk to serious people. Martini, go ahead.
Yes. So good to see everybody, and thank you for choosing to spend some of your day with us. So we hope that you took away some gems today, and know that there's, AI is nothing to necessarily be scared of, right? But one thing that I did take away with what Brian said was that you can't create great change unless you create great wealth. So for those of you who are wanting to make big changes in the world and you're on to something big, or even you're tired of the way that things are, please understand that, to me, the money that we have in the hands of people who are going to do right with it and who are really going to make significant change, the better we're all going to be. So it's better that you get yourself in the room and get yourself set up with the community of people who are creating generational wealth, investment by investment. So we are happy if you are feeling called to join us and be a part of this amazing change. We are definitely happy to welcome you into the investment club. So I went ahead and put in my information, and I'll put that in again for those of you who are interested in joining us. And I only want to talk to people who are serious, like Brian said. So if you're somebody who's thinking, I'll come in a couple of months from now, I'll come in next year, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to people who are ready to pull the trigger and are really ready to roll up their sleeves and to create wealth. So if that is you, go ahead and check out the investment club page, where it's going to give you information of all that the investment club entails and how we can best support you on your journey. And then as you're looking at the page, go ahead and jot down a couple of questions, and then go ahead and book a call with me. And I know that we're spread out all throughout the world. So if you don't see a time that's available in your time zone, please go ahead and send me a private message on Facebook just to say, hey, how's it going? And let me know where you're from and what time is most, which is better for you, and I'll do my best to accommodate. And of course, there's always email, but Facebook is always the fastest way to get to me. So once again, it is so amazing to have each and all of you here, and especially on Brian's birthday. So thank you for celebrating that with us, and we hope to see you on the next Thursday call. Back to you, Brian.
Awesome. Give it up for Martini. She makes everything happen here. She's our director of operations. And like I said, she is the one that decides who gets in the club. She also invests alongside of us in deals like Zarka, et cetera. So she's a real part of that group, just like all of our amazing members. Look, I just want to say a couple things. I want to shout out investment club members that are here, because you are amazing. We have an amazing group of people here. It's the best community we've ever created at London Real in 12 years. And that says a lot, because we've created some amazing communities, but this group is special. We are literally defining the future. We are creating the future because of our actions and our hard work. And honestly, it's my birthday and I wouldn't be anywhere else. So I'm really glad to spend this time with all of you, tell you about something that's on our mind and something that we want to make sure we change the future of. And so I would say to you, if anything resonated here, do something about it. All right. This is not something you can pick up later. I'm telling you, folks, the time is now on this. The time is now. You know, you're going to blink and it's going to be 2024 and it's literally going to be too late for some of this stuff. I've never seen anything so dire, so time sensitive as this in my entire life, which is why we're spending all of our energy so we can affect the future. And I would just say, do this, learn about this, go down the rabbit hole, start using this technology, and you'll start to realize what the public hasn't realized yet is that it's happening. It's going to be exponential and it's going to be very hard to control an outcome that is a good thing for us, is what I would say. All right. So again, be alarmed, but also be optimistic that there's something you can do to change it. So that's it. Again, look forward to seeing you in the investment club. Look forward to being a part of this journey with you. I'm going to jump now and go see my boys before they go to bed for my birthday. But thank you all so much. All right. Really appreciate all of you sending lots of love. And I hope I see my future birthdays a few decades from now. And I hope I can celebrate them with our intelligent friends in the future of AI. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. All right. We'll see you next time here on London Real. Bye.